Wait, am I live? I am live. Epic. All right. This is so poggers. All right. I'm actually like so pissed off um about this bullshit. This is gonna be a crash out stream. Cause like I feel like I'm going insane. Maybe I am alone on this. Maybe I am alone on this. Hello, person. Oh, I didn't even realize this. Hold up. Why is this muted? All right. Um, cool. All right. Let me make sure everything. I'll put it in theater. So basically, Pokemon Bank is closing down, and I cannot stand the reaction to it. I do not understand it. I don't expect anyone to join garbage chat. But I'm watching this video, like, and then this like random woman is like actually in emotional distress over Pokemon Bank ending, and I want to discuss why.
We're not all gonna make it.
What does that mean?
So Pokemon has announced that Pokemon Bank will no longer support transfers up to home coming February 25th, 2027. And I'm trying really hard not to crash out about this because, like,
Why? What? There is. This is okay. I gotta let him
like
cook.
I knew deep down that Pokemon Bank was gonna come to an end because,
Okay, so it's like I'm gonna let him play it. All right, I'm gonna let him play
it's a
out.
3DS app that you can't buy anymore. And I'm sure there's actually not many people still paying the $5 a year. I don't even know if you can still pay the $5 a year. I might be doing it. I might not. I don't know.
Exactly. You don't even know if this thing is something you're paying for or not. You don't know a lick about this thing, and you're like, oh, it's shutting down. Oh, it's shutting down. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? Like I don't get this. Where it's like this notion of like, oh, this is really important. Actually, this is a great of grave importance to everybody. Nobody. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, which this person clearly doesn't, no, nobody's paying for it. They stopped offering. They stopped letting you pay for it. Like I think when the eShop went down. So the fact, yeah, when they stopped letting you download it and the eShop went down, they stopped making you pay for it. It's free. Um, so like this person doesn't even know. This dude doesn't even know right here. He's like, I don't know.
Um, there's no way that it was gonna last forever.
It was never gonna last forever.
But
And this is like the delusion people have. They're like, oh, if it was just a few more years. But there was no time frame. There's never a time frame for these people where it's like, well, if it just shut down now or then or whenever, it's like, no, you were never gonna be satisfied. You would never have been satisfied no matter what, really. That's like the frustrating part about this is that like they have this delusion. These people have a delusion over Pokemon. I'm gonna probably talk about it more when I read the comments.
ahead of the like next generation of Pokemon, the Switch 2 games, it feels very like, oh no. So Violet Leaf
Like
Green are on
what does
this.
that mean? It feels like, oh no. Like what? What is so bad about this? Again, like there's this like implicit understanding you're supposed to have as a Pokemon fan that there is a value in transferring a Pokemon forward. You're supposed to feel this implicit value toward. You're supposed to be like, yes, you can do that. You're supposed to be able to do that, and it is a good thing. And while yes, it is a good thing, there is no value in it. It is a meaningless, a valueless act. There is no value in it. It is simply moving Pokemon from one game to another. It is moving lines of code, bits and bytes from one bits and bytes simulator to another. And like, yes, that's a very like regressive way of looking at it, but it is this. My general thesis for this stream is going to be Pokemon fans have an extremely parasocial relationship with the Pokemon franchise, and the Pokemon Bank closing is like shattering that illusion to them. It's sort of like reckoning day. I literally saw an Instagram comment like this morning that where someone was like, "People still haven't transferred up all their Pokemon yet." It's like, buddy, we've we've had 10 years almost. Like it's been almost 10 years. We've had 10 years to do this. Get with the program. Get with the like if this means so much to you, get with the freaking program. We're talking about games that were around during the Obama administration. Like I like if you're really this upset over to the point of where you're like you're gonna crash out about the fact it is closing. This is a different crash out stream. This is a different one. I'm crashing out about the fact this person's crashing out about it because I think it's an incomprehensible feat to me to be like I need to crash out about this. I can't understand it. I physically cannot understand it because it's like why do we care so much about these bits of code, these bytes that we've assigned personal value to for nothing, and the only reason we feel any personal attachment to it is because Game Freak kept engineering games that were designed to reinforce that artificial value.
Switch. In October, you're gonna be able to bring them into home. You're not going to put them back into the game, which sucks, but that's how these kind of older gen transfers work. And we'll
Like who cares though? Whatever,
probably
whatever.
get Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald eventually. We have Diamond and Pearl with Brilliant Diamond and Pearl. Shining.
Why does this dude look like he's about to cry? Like why are we crying about this? Like why? This if you have such an emotional attachment to Pokemon as a whole that this is like when they do this, when they close the gates, when they shut the door to usher in a new era, a new era of games like this. Like these games do not stop existing. These games you can still play these games. You still have access to, Red and Blue, Ruby and Sapphire, Fire Red, Leaf Green, especially not more now. Um, Games like these, like your physical cartridge does not stop existing, but then they act like this thing of being able to bring them forward, this thing that adds no value, and in fact, if anything, it takes value away from an older game. Again, this is the parasocial relationship that Game Freak have carefully formed between the consumer and the in the game in the product. This parasocial where it's like it's not just about the game. It's about the franchise. It's about progressively walking through the franchise with these Pokemon, with these creatures, these friends, dare I say, across the generations, like as if that means something, as if that holds implicit value that I'm supposed to feel bad that is getting closed. I cannot feel that. Like you have to give me an argument of something that matters. What was it? Was it Austin? No, it was I was watching somebody else. I think it was it? I think it was. Am I recording or am I live? I hope I'm still streaming. It's hard to tell because like my computer's been giving me tons of issues lately, mostly with saying it's offline. No, I'm still online. Okay, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. It was I bet if I look it up, Pokemon Bank. If I look it up, I'll get it. It was not yeah no not Austin. Pokemon Bank is perfectly close. Who was it? It was a really good video. I really liked it. Um, Lore Keeper Toby, that's who it was. It was this guy. He made a good point where he just says, um, there's no point in it really. Like you do what? Like you watch like you transfer them up and then you do what? Well, you don't do anything with it. You go play competitive, especially nowadays. You play competitive and you lose. Because that like level 5 Rattata is really not that good against someone else who actually like puts in the hours to train their team. Whole other discussion, by the way.
And Pearl, even though I don't think those are, uh, I would consider them good alternatives nonetheless.
You're
Video
literally
games.
crying over this.
Gen 5, you can
Get
catch
a
a lot of
grip,
those guys
brother.
in the Blueberry Academy. I just, it's weird because like the 30 years of Pokemon that have existed.
Can I bring up the stages of grief?
It's been really comforting to know that you can bring a Pokemon from Gen 1.
Okay. I don't know what this person means by this. I don't know what this person means when they say it's really comforting. It what does that mean? What does it mean to feel comfort? I think it might be kind of low. I try and crank it up. Um, like what is it? I don't know what that means. Excuse me. I don't know what that means. Like, what does it mean to feel comfort from being able to transfer Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 7? Like, what meaning does that express? What comfort does that express? Like, how is that comforting? I don't feel comforted when I think about transferring my Charizard up. Not that I think anything negatively about it, I only think positively, but I don't feel comforted by it. It's like, yeah, that's a cool thing. But at the end of the day, I don't feel negatively about it ending because again, these are just lines of code.
To Gen 8 and onward. Like, yeah, it's Red Virtual Console, but like, it's actually not that hard to get a Game Boy, Pokemon Red, or Blue, or Gold, or Silver, or Crystal save onto the Virtual Console. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but like, it's something you can do. And it's just insane to think that any playthroughs I start of Black and White or X and Y, games that are just got like heavily paid reference to less than a year ago, if you start a new playthrough of those games today and you do not transfer those Pokemon up by February, they are stuck in those games forever. And
okay. The notion that a Pokemon gets stuck in a game is a bizarre phenomena to me. Like I would like it was it Lord Keeper Toby or whatever? Lord Keeper Toby. He mentioned he kept calling them islands, which I think is a more fair way to put it. Um because these are like again, it all leads into the parasocial relationship Pokemon has formed between the consumer and the brand. Where it's no longer that, oh, you are in this game, you know, and you can be brought, you know, and it's not even fluid. It's not fluid at all. Not until generation 6 and 7. 6, 7. Not until generation 6 and 7, where you can actually use bank to transfer in between those two generations, or 8 and 9, where you can transfer between those two generations. Like it's really not like that bizarre of a phenomena. Or no, it is really. What am I trying to say? It's really like this notion of like, oh well, you can't bring them forward, as if there's like a linear progression towards Pokemon. Like, oh, you have to graduate from Emerald to to Platinum to Black and White, or Black to White to, and then to X and Y and Sun and Moon. No, there's none of that. This is just the lie you're telling yourself. This delusion that people are filling in their minds. Where you have to bring them. It is a core, and it's like I have so many Pokemon. Excuse me, that I have just trapped in ROM hacks, ROM playthroughs, trapped. Even I'm using the language where it's trapped. They're in those games, and it's like I don't feel bad that they're stuck in there. Again, the language I'm using is like so ingrained in my mind that I use it just offhandedly. But they're in those games. For lack of a better term, they're stuck in those games. But I don't feel anything about that. I don't feel bad about that. And I don't feel guilt, because at the end of the day, I can like the Pokemon. I can be attached to the Pokemon. Excuse me. But when it goes outside, when it starts like actually affecting my emotions of having to leave that Pokemon behind because I played a game, because I chose to get attached to a Pokemon, that is unhealthy. This is unhealthy. This reaction this person is having is extremely unhealthy. And like a lot of people are sharing the sentiment where it's like, where it's like this delusion where it's like, well, it's not delusional. Say they could totally afford to keep the servers up, but they're choosing not to. There has to be an alternative. Or like yeah, Clippy PFP, very intelligent. It's like they're forcing us into piracy. What? What are we talking about? And then this guy's like, oh wait, actually, I know that guy. What the hell? Well, I don't know him that well. He's in the imported cheese. And that guy's from imported cheese, $1 trillion company, and they CBA to host. Oh, what can't? What is CBA? Can't be asked to host at least a couple servers for a few more years. Like again, this is what I was getting to earlier, where it's like, what is what is the limit? Like, at what point is it okay for them to just stop doing it? Gen 10, Gen 11, Gen 12? Like, how long does this have to keep going until people are like, okay, yeah, it's been enough time? How long until how many Pokemon do we need before Dexit becomes justifiable? How much do we need to go through before we have to rip the bandage off? How much do we have to go through? This is the delusion Pokemon fans choose to live by because they are living in these rose tinted lenses of a time that no longer exists, of a time that is not feasible. I have to stare at the end of this Pokemon connectivity in the eye. Thinking about Ribbon Masters being axed makes me incredibly sad. Again, nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing this. Let's. Nobody's doing this. It's like they'll talk. They'll be like, "Oh, the ribbons, the ribbons. Oh, the ribbons. You can't. Oh, the ribbons. Oh, this thing. Oh, that thing." And it's like, no, nobody cares. Like nobody cares. Like, is it cool? Yeah, nobody cares. Like there was only the hardcore Pokemon fan base. Again, there was incredibly parasocial relationship that people like this have towards Pokemon. Shiny hunts will especially lose from the bank cutoff. So many methods are exclusive to just specific games and gens. I love SOS chaining and Sun and Moon. It sucks now after February. I can't bring them forward. Same with Dream Team. I want to do for Crystal now. I'm on a time limit. Who cares? I'm on it to just hack it in at this point. What do you mean for when to do for Crystal? What does that even mean? Same with Dream. I want to do. Can you bring Poke? Oh, he's talking about the Dream Team he wants to do for Crystal. Oh, he's on a time limit. Chop chop, buddy. I don't know. Get over it. Again, it's like if it's just the Dream Team you're talking about, then why do you have to bring them forward? Why do you feel this need to put them in Scarlet and Violet, for example, into Pokemon Home? Why do we feel this need? Like they don't stop existing because you put them in a you leave them in the game. Like they don't stop existing because of that. Like that scene from Record about. And then again, like bad faith people. Thank you, Donald Trump profile picture. Gotta rebuy them all, Pokemon. And it's like again, see, this is the delusion that these people live in. It's not gotta catch them all has not been the tagline of the Pokemon series for like 30 years. 30 years, mind you. It is this delusion that people live in where like, oh, we still got to catch them all because the first season of Pokemon was so iconic with its catching, gotta catch them all. Pokemon gotta catch them all. That was so well ingrained, and Game Freak fucked up when they did that. The marketing worked too well, and now the perception of the brand that was 30 years ago is no longer relevant, and people will not get over it. It's like, no. And so, like, then this delusion of, like, they think that they're like putting handcuffs on your Pokemon. It is a delusion. They think that they're putting handcuffs on your Pokemon and saying, "All right, now pay for it again." No, they're asking you to buy a new gaming experience, or in the case of Fire Red and Leaf Green, an old gaming experience, but at a markedly discounted price. And it's like there's no issue with that, but people will only view it through this lens of I can either use this Pokemon or I can't use this Pokemon because they have this parasocial attachment to this Pokemon, to a Pokemon that they used when they were children. It's delusional. Lol, in the future, if they do bring the game Ruby Sapphire and Emerald and the DS games to Switch eShop and make us pay a ridiculous price for them. Fire Red and Leaf Green, one of those is $20. Is that ridiculous? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think 15 is a more fair price. I think I got like you could get Fantasy 7 Nintendo Switch. Was this right? It's like $12 for Nintendo. Yeah, okay. As a direct port for around okay, is that true? It is $16. Okay. Like I think that's a more fair price for Ruby or for Fire Red and Leaf Green over $20. Like I think, you know, I think $15 is a fair price, not 20. Um just me maybe, just me. People think that it should be free. I don't disagree necessarily, but I also don't necessarily mind that like they're charging for them. Everyone on Twitter would probably be commenting this. Yeah, like again, but like this guy's making a point where it's like, oh, everyone would be commenting this. Everyone's gonna be commenting this because I don't know, because like what, you want to play the game again on relevant hardware. The fact that pretty soon support be cut for the last Pokemon game with a full national dex at its time is crazy. At time is crazy and sad. Just be able to get your favorite Pokemon now. You'll have to buy like 3 games. What? Just to be able to. But if your favorite Pokemon is in one game, you can just buy that one game. Or, or here's another thought. Here's another crazy thought. Stop using your favorite Pokemon. Like, God forbid you don't use your favorite Pokemon for one game. It's never been more over. It's never just been started. Like it's just getting started. Like again, like there's like, oh, it's so over. Like there's a lot of it's so over. It's like, who cares? Your life will go on. Like again, there's like this, like it's like a Y2K. This is someone compared it to 9/11, didn't they? Yeah. I thought this comment was funny. This is 9/11 for anyone that still carries a 3DS with them when they go outside. I don't know if that person's joking or not and like being like a snark, but that's really funny. That is really funny because it is the 9/11 for people who still use the 3DS. Like who still carry around their 3DS. It's like, which is such a minuscule population. Like people still do it. Don't get me wrong. But like nobody does that. Like when I say nobody, I mean like very few people, obviously. But nobody does that. And what was this guy saying? It's never been more over. This is literally Y2K for Pokemon fans. Where they have this delusion that everything's gonna get fucked up and the world's gonna end, but it's like, and then like, January 1st, 2000 hits, and it's gonna be, oh, nothing happened. Nothing ever happens, Chud. Okay, let's see. What does Glory to Snowstar say? On one hand, I feel like I'm overreacting to the severity of this. It's pixels and a screen, and I have a stable house, a family, and a job. My life is great. On the other hand, I've grown up with this franchise and I've sunk hundreds of hours into my 3DS titles, creating memories and highways leading all the way to the Switch. Them pulling the plug on this just kind of has me leaning harder into fan games as my future experience of a franchise. But uh, what? Again, what is this logic? Okay, okay, so this logic is my life is incredible. My life is amazing. They're shutting down Pokemon Bank. They're what okay, so I think what this guy is saying is that he essentially views this as them closing the gates to his childhood. And so he feels scorned by this lover. He views Game Freak as the gatekeepers to his childhood and they are now closing the gates to it. This is how delusional this is, and this is I don't think this is I don't think this is an inaccurate depiction of what's going on. He views Game Freak as closing the gates to his childhood. And so now he can no longer look Game Freak, or in this case, the mainline Pokemon in its face because he sees it as a scorned lover. And so he will now support the fan games as his future experience. He can now no longer look Game Freak in the eyes because his opinion on them is so soured by them in his eyes closing the gate to his childhood. This guy, okay, yeah, this guy says, I'm plenty happy with all my Gen 5 Pokemon staying in Black 2, but this genuinely sucks. And it does. Like, I'm not saying that this is a good thing that this is happening. I agree that it's a bad thing, but it was going to be a bad thing no matter when it happened. Like, there was never a time frame where Pokemon fans were going to be like, yeah, yeah, this was a good time for it to end. There was never going to be. There was always going to be backlash no matter when they did it. This is genuinely so stupid. How could they do this? I don't know, man. Why do you care? The living decks and it really is a shame because I only have the 3DS games. I wanted to get the cards Gens 3, 4, 5 so I could experience the quirks and bugs and events and everything that are unique to them, but soon there'll be nothing to show for it. So that what do you mean? What do you mean there'll be nothing to show for it? Th- those things. This is the delusion that I'm talking about. This is the delusion that I'm talking about. Those things, those actions you take in that game, when you save that game, when you turn that game off, those things do not stop existing because you did not bring them to the modern age. Those things continue to exist. They are still relevant. They are still there on your cartridge. Those Pokemon are still there. They still exist. But because you cannot bring them, you see no value. Because you cannot drag them from their age they are stuck in, you cannot feel the value of that experience. Why do you feel this way? It is a delusion. And closing reminds me of when the Pokemon TV app shut down, but like 10 times worse. Yes, I can watch everything legally, but the multiple subscriptions just make it impossible and not practical. With Bank gone, it's just going to be harder to get specific and certain mons onto the Switch. Okay, I'll read the rest of this. And because of this, people are going to be a lot more enticed into hacking in mons, like you mentioned. What? Just like how it's easier to watch the Pokemon anime on a legal streaming site. Uh, Are are we delusional or something? Like, what are we talking about? Like, it's only and because of this, it's going people. Okay, and it's gonna get hard. Okay, bank on it. It's gonna get hard. Be harder just to get specific and certain mons onto the Switch. What do people mean by this? Like, okay, I'm guessing that the person in the video argues that it's just gonna entice people to hack more. Which I mean, like, who cares? Like, literally, who cares? Hack away. I don't give a shit. I don't think anybody should care. Again, it's like this idea of like, oh, hacking bad. Who cares? Delusional. Um, just like how it's easier to watch the Pokemon anime on illegal streaming. Again, like that Pokemon shutting down Pokemon on TV sucks because like that being a good hub to watch Pokemon stuff is great, and having to license it out to a bunch of different streaming services that is actually bad. That is worse, actually worse than them shutting down Pokemon Bank because that holds actual real value to people. The fact that you can conveniently watch all Pokemon media in one spot without needing to spend, 10, 20, $30 on a bunch of different subscriptions monthly. That actually holds value to me. Okay, not even to me, just in general. But the fact that you can't transfer up specific Pokemon, who cares if that Pokemon is not in the game? If anything, because I know that Game Freak has been making strides. I think like at this point, Spidna is like the only Pokemon that you can't put in like bank or whatever, or home or whatever. So, like basically every Pokemon is available. So if anything, it's incredibly easy to get whatever Pokemon you want if you just own the right game. If anything, like oh yeah, does it make it quote unquote harder? I guess if you don't want to buy new games. I guess. But at the same time, like this only affects veterans. This only affects veterans who have these games already. Because if you want like the genuine non-slop repro copies that I have, that I make it sound like I'm selling them. No, I unfortunately bought them. Um, then like you're gonna pay an exorbitant amount. So if anything, like it is just dropping off like the boomers. Like again, this is draining the swamp of the boomers, and it's like, what do you mean harder to get specific in certain mons on the Switch? I guess there's like a couple of let's see, Pokemon not on the Switch. Let's see. 19 Pokemon. This is from a year ago. Let's see. All right, Pokemon that are unobtainable. Trying to find out. Let's see. All right. So, okay. So this is from a year ago. I don't know how true this is. Okay. Celebi, Victini, Patchrat, Watchdog, Pansage, Simiseries, the Genesect for Diancie, Hoopo, Volcanion, Magearna, Marshall, Zero, Rude. Okay. So let's see. Those two are mythicals, three mythicals, four mythicals, or sorry, I mean event, six event, seven, eight, nine. So nine of these are event Pokemon. And I'm sure Furfro came back. And I think these guys all came back. So these are all like one line. Yeah. I'm pretty sure all of these guys are in the games. You can see that I subscribed. Excuse me. Let me see. Is it actually in? Is it in this? It is. So it's in Z to A. I think the same thing is true for the Simi C. Let's go to Simi C. Du- 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 yep. There you go. Right there. Boom. And I assume that's the same for all of these guys. Um, and Furfro is definitely in there because it's Fro. Edit Pokemon I missed out. Deoxys, Spinda. What? Oh, for Pokemon Home, including regional, the only Switch game. So yeah, but this isn't accurate now because of Pokemon. Because of Z to A. So it's only the 9 events. I don't know if Hoop is obtainable in. And then Deoxys, which is probably going to get remedied later. Because supposedly there's going to be like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So I assume that they're going to do a similar thing where they let you catch Deoxys and maybe even Jirachi. I find it weird to have so few Pokemon impossible to give you on users Switch games. And I want to share this information. But yeah, these like, are they like event Pokemon? I don't know. It's in Z to A. So that'll change soon. The only Pokemon not being really available mythical makes sense to me. So like it's like Spinda is like the only Pokemon that I think Lorekeeper Toby pointed out. Yeah, has every Pokemon now been in a Switch game? Yes. Yes. Yes, with some notes. Oh, Rattata and Rattata and Let's Go, but if they're transferred, because there's nowhere they can go because Let's Go won't accept them. Spin is only a million. Yeah, there's like a couple exceptions, and then like yeah, or code and Switch games with no distribution. So if you don't have them, yeah, and so it's like basically like what does this guy mean? What do they mean when they say it's going to be harder just to get certain specific mons on the Switch? Like what are we talking about? Right now, if there's a Pokemon you want that is not a there. If there is not a Pokemon, if there is a Pokemon that you want on the Switch games, you can go out and catch it. Like you just have to own the right game. And it's like it's a similar situation where it's like and like the logic they'll use is like, well, I already own this game, so I should be able to transfer it up. And it's like, no, and that's what I mean when like the delusion they tell themselves, or it's like, oh well they're making me pay for it again. Well, it's like if you view Pokemon games as nothing more than like entry tickets to catching your favorite Pokemon, what are you doing? What are we doing here? I'm happy to continue living on my hard gold soul silver. Perfect. Like more people should be like this, where it's like it doesn't matter. Like like the experience that you had doesn't stop existing simply because you moved on. Like because not you moved on. Again, it's like this like weird like I think these people are just stuck in the past and they dilute themselves. They tell themselves that, oh, if I can just bring it to the future, then I will no longer be stuck in the past. It will mean something. I will have come ahead, but it doesn't mean anything. It absolutely sucks because we used to have this absolutely shit barrier between Gens 1 and 2 and the rest before the virtual console, if we exclude homebrew alternatives for the time being. They made such a good work when they released those 3DS, but virtual console is dead, and Pokemon Bank will also now be dead. That means between Gens 8 and 7, that now just a barrier that like exists for no reason. It's weird to me because right now I care less about Pokemon than I ever did in my life. Okay? Just because I've burnt out with the franchise. Why? I've actually like really recently got into the franchise again because like I think that like there's some really good games, but like it just sucks. It fucking sucks. It's an artificially created problem by both Nintendo shutting down the eShop, thanks for nothing, and the wider Game Freak and Pokemon Company system just not wanting to keep it up and running. Like I really in the past was a defender of Pokemon Bank since it just became a free service if you had downloaded it by the big eShop shutdown in 2023 and them keeping it running. Like so like what changed? That's actually a really good question. What did change? Um I think there's actually a change in Game Freak philosophy for Pokemon games. Um excuse me. I think Game Freak is going for a while for the DS era, quote unquote, of Pokemon. It was all about interconnectivity. It was about bringing your Pokemon forward and feeling like you're going on a journey. This parasocial idea that you feel like you're going on a journey with all of your past adventures coming as trophies. I guess like I don't know why you would do this. I've had people tell me that like oh it matters because there's like value or some crap. I don't know. They tell me things and it's like I don't know what you're saying because you're like you're talking about something that is inherently valueless. But like this is to say, I think there is a change in design philosophy, how they're handling the games itself, like how they're handling the game. During the pre-release of Sword and Shield, they mentioned that it was getting really tight for them to include all of the Pokemon in that game and then some. So I can understand because the writing was on the wall in Sun and Moon. Like the fact that they didn't have a true Nat Dex, like national Dex that was that Pokedex that contained all entries for all the Pokemon. That's what I mean by true Nat Dex. Um, like that was the writing on the wall. That should have been like signaling to us as fans that something was gonna change next year or soon. Something was gonna change soon. And so they ripped off the bandage with Sword and Shield. People say they lied. I mean, it really depends on how, like I could genuinely argue against people why they didn't lie. I don't think they lied. But like I think the excuse the reason they gave should have just been yeah no it's stupid to do that like there's 1,000 of these guys because I think even in that like in one of the interviews they say there's including alternate forms and introducing the new Pokemon with the Gigantamax and the Megas and all the alternate forms that Pokemon have there was over 1,000 Pokemon like individual models back then. Now there's over 1,000 Dex entries now. So, like, what does that say? What does that continue to say about how many Pokemon are like actually in the game? So I think there is a change in like philosophy for Game Freak where they want games to have tighter Pokedexes, and that will save on them having to implement every Pokemon. Because Game Freak likes to do this thing that I don't really understand why they do it. Where every generation they will update Pokemon move sets. Oh, he wasn't in that game. Yeah, you can see in like Gen 7, he had this and all the updated TMs, all the breeding moves and all this. And so they'll like change it from generation to generation. I don't know why they do this. It's like they don't have to do this and they'll have to add in like new Pokedex entries and all stuff like this. And it's like, no, it's unnecessary. So like just don't do it. Focus on another part of the game that could be improved. And I think that's why they're doing it. And like again, like this guy doesn't even like this guy just is tired with Pokemon. Like why you'd burn out. Um, he's like, I could care less about Pokemon than I ever did. He just sees it and it sucked. It's like, yeah, this is sucky. But like, why do you think that? And I think a lot of it is just like echo chambering off of each other. Because like again, I'm not saying that like bank closing is good. I'm saying I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter as much as people think it does. I transferred my OG NatDex all the way home already, but my wife hasn't. And it just sucks. It's depressive. if you're getting depression over this, you need to reevaluate your life. Like you genuinely need to reevaluate your like where you are in life. Like if this is your biggest concern in life, you're doing pretty fucking well. Maybe you could try to do a Ribbon Master thing, maybe on stream or offline. Alas, hurrah! My hopium idea is they come out with some adapter for each console that connects your phone so you can transfer directly or something. Again, huge tropium right here. That Pokemon transferring newer gens was just a thing they used to build into the games. Gens 3 and 4 is as an in-game feature that will exist. Gen 4 transfer, Gens 5 is an in-game feature. That will be around forever. From then onward, though, it requires Pokemon Bank, an external app you have to pay for. And as we see now, inevitably shut down and never that's the real criticism is that the change in philosophy went from um baked into the game to external tools. And that's the real truth that people don't want to talk about. That's the real truth. But at the same time, like, yeah, yeah. I think that like this should have been something that they stopped doing a while ago. This sucks because I was just about to train up some Pokemon in X and Ultra Sun, then transfer them up for champions. Now that just won't be possible because Bank loses support in a few months. This blows. What are you talking about? Just transfer them up now. Like it is not expensive to train a Pokemon in Champion. Or does he need like specific things from that gen? I don't know. I don't know. This could have been all avoided if they just made some little bullshit cable that connected the 3DSs. Not only is there just not a great reason to shut it down, on top of that, there's no official alternative. All right, here's the next talking point. I'll get on that in a sec. Oh, but I'm sure they'll come up with one. What, 3 years after the fact without a sound? And I bet then even Home will still won't work for every game. At this point, I'm not even worried about transferring Mons anymore. The last mainline game I played was Diamond and Shining. It was Diamond PDSP. I already elect to get my phase and Sun and just figure something out if I'm going to transfer somebody. Still like, why? Okay. Official alternative. This is the delusion that people have. This is there's a lot of delusions people have with this. Another one is official alternative. So if you use an unofficial alternative, it is more hard. It is more hard. It's more difficult, of course, naturally. Um, but it it's the same Pokemon. It's the same thing. There is like a lie people tell themselves where it has to be official or else it doesn't count or something. So they get really antsy, or like really autistic about it being unofficial. Um, which is like stupid because Pokemon are just lines of code. They really are. I might be tripping, but isn't there a homebrew alternative to Bank? My 3DS is jailbroken. I could have. Yeah, there is. There is. The Ribbon community has it really bad. We have to essentially speedrun Shiny Hunts. Ribboning everything is such a nightmare. I have a ton on my plate myself. Weird how I got to know about the Pokemon Bank Club. Do you? I've really mixed feelings about this. If I'm being honest, I'm probably done using the transfer service. Right now, I'm working on a black and white shiny badge quests. It's been a lot of fun, and I was always planning on keeping them on the island that is black and white. However, the option to transfer them was always a weird comfort to have. It's strange to lose that comfort, to lose that option. Having the ability to know what could be, and having it turn to what could have been is a bit a stranger bummer. That's understandable. This is like actually understandable where it's like losing the potential is something. Losing the potential is something, and it's like yeah, it's really not that big of a deal because he wasn't even planning on it. But like losing that potential is actually something. But the reality of the situation is that you're never actually losing the potential. The only thing that's really gatekeeping you is your ability to modify hardware. Remember the magic of trading my Pokemon from Stadium 2 to Gold Crystal Silver? It was magic. Pure joy. You were a child. I still have my team from 14 years ago. I wish I could bring them with me. What do you mean? What do you mean bring them with you? They're still there. Brother, they're still with you. Like there's this like delusion that people have where it's like the journey's not complete until they get to the most recent game. But it's that what is it like the like broken backpack meme. You're like just let it go, man. Oh yeah, it's doing this crap. Just let it go, bruh. It's over. Like, just let it go, bruh. It's over. Like this is like the feeling I get when people are like, dude, I have my save from when I was a child, and it's like, just let it go, bruh. Just let it go. Like it really does not mean anything. Maybe I'm special because I had to like do this a couple of times as a kid, and I'm just so used to doing it because again, they're just lines of code. Like they are just like things. I've had to lose like game saves and stuff like where I'm not like this delusional to the point where I'm like, oh my god, I have my original teams. Like I still have a hard backup of my Ultra Sun save that has all of my shiny legendaries, shiny Pokemon, my some of my old teams. And like, yeah, that's cool that I have that. That I had the foresight to hack my 3DS, back that up, put it on a flash drive that I'd never lose. That's cool that I did that. But like, if I lost that, genuinely, if I lost that, I'd be like, damn, that's about it. Like, I wouldn't have like an emotional breakdown because I'm not 11. I'm not a little kid. And like the fact that like this guy 14 years ago, 14 years ago, this man is an adult right now. This man is like has to be an adult. Like at the bare minimum, this guy has to be at least close to 18. At least. That's sad. I played one Switch game, Sword, and knew this was it for the Pokemon Company. I'm tired of nothing ever getting better for this franchise. I disagree, actually. I think Sword and Shield was a pretty good improvement. I think it improved on a lot. The biggest improvement it had was absolutely the aesthetics. It honestly hits like the vibe of being in a sports competition on a tee. With the current landscape of Pokedexes in modern games, I would wholeheartedly recommend you don't transfer up any Pokemon or teams you're attached to. I moved my original Omega Ruby team into home, and it's been so hard to get a game with all of them in it. I transferred everything out of that save file, and it's generally my biggest regret. There's no reason transferring Pokemon couldn't be backwards compatible, and it kind of pisses me off. You're stupid. I don't know. Like I don't know. I think you're just an idiot. Like you fell for it again award. I don't know. It's like why? Like again, like but like when has transferring Pokemon ever been backwards compatible? Sun and Moon, X and Y, like Gen 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, I believe. So there was like literally very little pretense for you to believe that. I don't know, but like that's like a yeah, that does suck. I'm not with you. Yeah, don't do it. I actually agree, don't do it. Um I agree, don't do it because what you're gonna be left with is a husk. If you transfer up your Pokemon, your teams, your members, when you boot that game up again, you're gonna be left with a husk. That is not gonna be a Pokemon game anymore. That is gonna be a husk of a journey that once was. You are see this is what they think. This is what they think. They think that they are continuing that journey by bringing those Pokemon forward. But what they are doing is they are hollowing out that husk of the game that they played. Maybe it is just so they can guilt-free re-experience it, try to relive that childhood with no loss. I think that's pointless. I think part of what starting over a Pokemon save is letting go. To re-experience that journey, you should have to let go. You should have to say goodbye to what once was to be able to re-experience what was. Maybe that's too much of an artistic perspective on. I don't know. I think it's more of a server infrastructure thing rather than being a server cost thing. There's only so long you can hold on to older infrastructure that supports the Nintendo 3DS before it becomes a burden. Granted, I feel like 2027, 20, just say February 2027 is really early in that regard, but this is talking about software that hasn't been able to download for nearly 3 years. I just wish they would give any way to transfer this Pokemon locally, like via infrared or local communication with the Nintendo Switch. They can implement a mail-in service, and it would still be better than completely cutting off 3 through 7 um packs. Again, it's the delusion. I wish they would give. I wish they what was it, implement a mail-in service. What? That you would legitimately rather mail in a copy of your game rather than go out and transfer it now or hack your 3DS and Nintendo Switch. Like you could go get like a cheap Nintendo Switch Lite, homebrew that. Excuse me. Homebrew that, and your problem would be solved. Now I need to buy a Gen 5 game ASAP so I can Why do you need to do that? What do you need to transfer for? Like why? Like what is the value that you get out of that? This is what I don't understand. Like no one ever can explain the value of it to me because the value doesn't exist. It is a value to the person who it is attached to. This blows. I've had a long-term goal to like get a full set of Pokemon consoles and stuff and get a living dex in, the next decade. And it sucks that it's looking like that's impossible now. We're gonna be in the next year. And that's like too soon to get a DS for. I kind of assume that hacks would be always an option in the future, but it's a little weird that it's what? That hacks would always be an option in the future. But it's a little wild to me that it's not. What? You mean hacks are entirely an option? Like you can use PK hacks, bro. The old world is dead. Yes, the old world is dead. Get with the times, Grandpa. Get with the times. The old world is dead. Yeah, old Nintendo is dead. I'm not the one to transfer my Pokemon between generations, especially from Gen 2 to 5, because I love the sprite artwork more than 3D models. But this is still ass. It's already shitty of them to lock Pokemon Bank to home transfer behind a monthly paywall. What? Is that real? I don't actually know. And back before the eShop on the 3DS closed, you had to also pay for a monthly subscription to the Pokemon Bank to do this stupid transfer. This was never and still isn't a free service. And they could easily keep this shit running forever. No, they couldn't. What the fuck are you talking about? No, they couldn't. There comes a time where it's like it just becomes not worth the effort. Like it becomes not worth the effort. Yeah. This is the most gross. Oh, here we go. They make so much money. What are we talking about? They have more money than we could ever fucking imagine. That blah blah blah. And they aren't going to release any new shit to make it possible. And they don't. They want to resell their Pokemon games forever and ever. And so making you discard your physical copies of these old games that already made money. You'll own nothing and be happy. Happy 30th anniversary. Fuck all those 30 years of memories. Sorry, I'm not this mad usually. You're pathetic. You're just pathetic. You're actually just pathetic. You probably are this mad usually. It's like again, like why? This is this is the second stage of grief, isn't it? Stages of grief. Yeah, we've got denial. Yeah, you can literally see people going. You can literally see this happening in real time. Like you can. This is literally happening. We're seeing the denial. People being like, "This is. I can't believe this is happening." Denial. Oh, we should just get like this. That what is it? Um, what is it? Um, let's see. Yeah, acceptance right here. This is probably one of the healthiest people in this comment section. Let's see. Yeah, denial. Isn't there this? Let me see. Really again, this is like anger. Anger. No great reason to shut it down. What is the next one? Depression. And this person looks like they're going through depression because they're like crying about it. This is like anger, I guess. This is bargaining. This is bargaining right here. We're like, oh, they should. Oh, we can avoid this if they just did this. Or like denial. They can totally afford to keep the servers up. They're choosing not to. Denial. It's not happening. $1 billion company. And they again like when is the limit? Denial. Part of me inhaling insane denial. Denial. Um, you're holding me back from doomerism, but it's really a huge bummer to stay and denial. What else we got? Gotta rebuy them all. Anger, meant to be snark. Snark is a form of anger. This sucks. Again, like acceptance. On one hand, let's see, it's pixel on the screen. Life is great. On the other hand, this kind of sounds like depression. This is like anger. I would say this is anger because he's making a comparison. Maybe bargaining. No, not bargaining. Either anger or depression. Like you can literally see like the stages of grief happening for these people. Happy to continue living. That is technically a denial. That is technically denial. Open home exists. Would that be denial? Like it's not actually happening. Like this isn't really happening because this exists. Or is that acceptance? This is like anger. What changed? Yeah. Almost depression. He's like, he like I think it might be because he's burned out. He doesn't like the franchise. He doesn't care about the franchise. He's just depressed. It's like depression. This guy, yeah, depression right here. Like, no, this is not that serious. Like again, like I heard this and I was like, okay. I didn't go through any of this. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Yeah. Yeah, this one's pure anger. You'll own nothing and be happy. Like, no. Like again, there's this delusion that people have where like they don't own these Pokemon unless I can put them into the modern game. Like these Pokemon don't exist unless I can put them into the game that everybody's playing. Like who cares? Who cares? All about that bottom line. Fuck this shit, dude. I'm going back to the sixth generation of gaming and never looking back, anger. In an age where video games have never been more profitable, I gotta deal with Sony shooting Destiny 2, Nintendo trying to get people to buy the Switch 2 by literally killing their last handheld console again. Are we crazy? What are we talking about? Buddy, the 3DS came out during the Obama administration. We've had 3 presidential elections since the time of the 3DS. And physical media is dying. You got me fucked up. This is you mentioned the fact that almost every big developer publisher is basically a shell of its former self. Gaming is officially headed towards the next Great Depression once that industry implodes. It's gonna be like the ET landfills, except only PS6s and Xbox Elite 25. See, I don't think Xbox is coming out with another console. I don't think they're doing that. Good news. Now people will start playing these JRPG. Let's go! Good news. Now people will start playing these JRPG games like people normally play JRPGs. No one's getting mad at the characters from old Final Fantasy games can't be brought into new Final Fantasy games. If you want to play with Gen 3 Pokemon, just play a Gen 3 game. The smartest man in the room. My brother, just another me. What a great way to end this. What a great way to end this. What a great way. Oh man, dude. Oh my gosh. What a great way. Honestly, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Like I think the stream ends here. That's such a perfect comment. The stream just ends here.